Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and we are finally getting like a roadmap type thing from the Age of Empires future and what it could entail. So we're gonna go over that, and I'll give you a quick live reaction as to what I'm thinking about this first kind of release of a roadmap coming to Age of Empires and what impression I am getting from it in terms of being positive or negative. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so it starts with our first patch officially released earlier this week. That was a very minimal patch. People were, I would say the community in general was pretty negative about it. They were hoping we would get at least something a little bit more with that first patch, but it was not. But it is exciting to see that we are getting some communication now about what will be coming for the future. So first up, we have got winter of 2021. So that's going to obviously be very soon here, within the next month or so. This is the things that you can expect to be happening pretty quickly here into winter. So on November 15th, launch pad to introduce inbox count and linking and the issue with the Mongol town center. So it was becoming very popular for the Mongols to a town center rush people. They could just plop it down wherever they wanted to, right next to you. It was super overpowered, and the big tournament Genesis was actually banning that play. You actually couldn't do it. It was banned from all competition. So it was kind of like a self-imposed patch to remove that from the game, but then it did officially happen pretty soon after that. They also helped with performance impacts when panning the camera and some other small tweaks. While this patch was smaller and more pointed, we're happy to share that we're putting in finishing touches on a larger patch that we'll share soon. In the winter of 2021, we'll be introducing hundreds of balance changes. That's actually pretty crazy. Hundreds of balance changes the first time you balance your game. That's pretty intense, and they do say literally. So it is going to be hundreds of balance changes. That's could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing. It just depends how diligent they are about taking feedback and really researching the changes that they make. Also, a variety of helpful bug fixes and a few key features we've seen requested by our players. Our team has been hard at work at preparing this update, and we are appreciative of the community for providing, for lending your voice to the conversation. Here's a sneak peek of the goodness that is going to be coming up in the next month or two. So make the choice to turn on the in-game player scores. So obviously when you are observing a match or something, it will show you the player scores. Now this is not perfect, but it's supposed to be a little metric where everything is reduced down to one number to help give you an idea of the flow of the game and who might have an advantage or disadvantage currently in the game, because that number is a dynamic number that is constantly changing based on battles and based on things that are built and trained. So it is a good metric in the game. It just needs a little bit of tuning as the game kind of ages to make it more and more accurate. So it looks like they're going to be giving players the option to enable a permanent player score being showed or not, but it doesn't look like that's going to be happening for latter games, like games currently that you actually queue for. And when ranked mode is released, that is not going to, obviously that could change things a lot. People would be able to reverse engineer how their opponent is playing without even really needing to scout them if they really did some work into understanding how score is calculated. So obviously that would be kind of broken in a competitive sense. But if you're practicing versus somebody and you want to turn on the player score so you can kind of see how things are going as you're comparing builds to each other, I think that is all in all a pretty solid change, as long as they don't add it to like a ranked or the queue system in the game. Then they're going to be removing or moving the Chinese Dynasty button and the user interface to a less prominent position on the screen. I don't even know how that made it to the live server. It used to say the Dynasty right there, top middle of the screen, and it was just always permanently there. It was a huge oversight to have that like that, but at least they're going to fix that right away and move it down to the lower left-hand corner. The ability to view the map post-match is something that you've asked for. So like you finish that last battle and your opponent surrenders, you can actually go ahead and look around the map now and see what was going on, see why they surrendered, see what was the layout of everything they had built without having to go out, host a replay, fast forward to the end. You'll be able to do that right away. So that's definitely a good change, and I hope that gets implemented really soon here. Also, refinements made to the in-game mini-map. It looks like there's going to be changing the size of like icons on there. One thing I wish they would do is provide a little bit more tactile feedback when you interact with the minimap itself, but it doesn't look like they said that on there. It looks like they're just going to be changing the size of icons and stuff like that to kind of change how the minimap HUD is displayed. Then we get into the juicy stuff. This is always the most interesting part, the balance changes. Loads of changes to share with you on our release notes when this update lands, but here's a handful of adjustments our balance team is particularly excited about. So the French Hulk ship tweaked to no longer rule the high seas. So the French, they have the ability to gain access to the Hulk, and it is a tier 3 castle age ship that they can get 5 minutes into the game during H2. So it is extremely powerful. It's one of the more broken balance type changes in the game. So I'm glad they're going to be addressing that, because French are extremely, if two players are equal skill level, and it is a water map. One is French and they know what they're doing, and the other one is a different civ and they know what they're doing. The French, they just have an advantage in that position. If you rush Hulks, you're gonna command the seas if you do it right. So it is good that they're kind of helping to provide some counterplay to that, and hopefully they adjust that properly. Crossbowmen, spearmen, and elite crossbowmen will pose a greater threat to cavalry. This is good. Cavalry is currently very, very strong in AoE 4, and it should be strong. It just seems like it's a little bit overtuned. So I'm glad they're going the route of the thought process to help out the counters. So if you make the right choice against cavalry, you'll be a little bit more rewarded for that, as opposed to just nerfing cavalry. So I do think they're going the right route there. Significantly reducing the cost of the Chinese repeater crossbow. That's good. Chinese are viewed as one of the bottom 1 or 2 civs currently, so any love that they're going to get is welcome in my book. Fixed to the HRE prelate unit to allow them to continue inspiring after being pushed. Again, HRE needs all the help they can get. They're in a similar boat to the Chinese, kind of. And then Mongol superior mobility adjusted to ensure the speed modifier is appropriately applied. So what's happening is the Mongols are able to pack up their buildings and move them. They have a superior mobility upgrade that is way over juicing Mongol buildings to move super fast. So it's ended up kind of being a meme in the community, and they're going to finally be fixing that and making the buildings move at the proper speed. Fixed an issue for the Rus civilization to eliminate infinite relic duplication. So there has been a bug where the Rus can just duplicate infinite relics, which obviously are going to give you crazy gold generation, which when you pair that with a market, it basically gives you infinite resources. So that is an exploit that obviously needs to be removed from the game as soon as possible. So that is all of the stuff that is going to be coming soon within the next month or two. And then they're looking towards the future where you get into stuff, 4, 5, 6 months from now. And we're going to be doing user generated content and tools to allow you to bring your ideas to life. Not a mod maker yourself, no worries, you'll still be able to enjoy the work of others. Yeah, so unique maps and modes and different things that the community can really try and explore with each other in terms of different ways to enjoy AoE 4, so that's obviously a good thing. And then that is when the ranked seasons are going to be starting, where you'll actually be able to queue for ladder matches, and it will track your record and your rank within that ladder season, and that'll be coming in spring of 2022. So it looks like we still got a few months, 4 or 5 months to really practice and hone your skills on the quick play system, and then we'll be getting into the ranked ladder games where you'll be officially ranked. We'll also be finalizing some minor improvements to the post-game map in spring 2022 and introducing the patrol move you've been asking for. Obviously, anybody familiar with RTS games is going to love that patrol command where you've got somebody out on the map that you're trying to maintain vision and map control. You have them patrol a certain route back and forth so you can see when the enemy goes there. Obviously, patrol is going to be a great feature. I'm sure a lot of people are excited for that, as well as exploring the inclusion of other features and fixes based on player feedback. Then they talk about looking forward, whereas things that could be added to the roadmap in the future, we've got a global build queue, which I think would be pretty cool. Improvements to the unit stat card is definitely needed. I know me personally, as somebody coming from the StarCraft community who never really played Age of Empires 4, or never really played the Age of Empires franchise until AoE 4, I would love to see a revamp to the unit stat cards. It's very wonky in my opinion in how they did it. So I am definitely looking forward to that. Hotkey improvements. We recognize hotkeys are a big component in competitive play, topic our community cares a great deal about. This is a bigger change. It's something we are investigating from a few different angles, including a movement away from the grid system, as well as implementing a few other options. So that's good. So it's not that the grid system is bad. It's just that people shouldn't be forced to use the grid system. you should be able to have some customization as a gamer. There's really no reason to pigeonhole people and force them to play how you want them to play when it comes to the hotkeys they're using. That just seems weird to me, so I'm glad that they're at least open to the idea of addressing that issue. Taunts and Cheats, part of the Age of Legacy. We're exploring what these elements would look like and sound like. Okay, so that's cool. AI difficulty, we've heard from you that AI difficulty could use some tuning, specifically making the easy AI less aggressive and boosting the challenge of the hard. So it looks like people are saying the AI is a little bit too scaled towards the middle. The easy is too hard and the hard is too easy, so they're going to try to disperse that a little bit, make the easy mode a little bit more peaceful to help people learn the game, and then make the harder AI really a challenge that people are looking for when they go into those matches against a hard opponent. And then Waypoint Indicators, another quality of life feature from the previous Age titles. We know this is something many of you want to see returned. Yep, that would be great for your like shift commands and stuff, obviously, or something. I think is what they mean there by showing you the different waypoints that are happening when you queue up shift commands. So that does it for this. Now, this is obviously what we're looking for. We're looking for some updates as to what is coming. This is way better than the first patch they did, and I'm excited for this stuff. Now, I think most of these balance changes, that's what I'm most interested in. I think they look pretty cool. Now, they say there's hundreds, so I don't know why they only listed like 6 here. I wish they would have listed like 25. That still would have only been like 10% of it, but they gave us like a little teaser of the balance changes. But there's lots of other ones that are going to be sorely needed, like probably springolds being adjusted a little bit, and some different balance features that we would like to see. Maybe battering rams are slightly too strong. Maybe some of these civilizations being able to instantly build springolds and mangonels in the field of battle, like the Mongols can, is a little bit too strong. There's a bunch of different things that maybe could use a deeper look into balancing, but also at the same time, we need to see different metas emerge. We need to see more tournament play. We need to see more high-level games. We need to give the player base time. The game is so new that we are so rapidly learning it right now, and strategies are really being refined and honed and developed. So I'm sure things will change in terms of the meta and how it is shaped by the time these balance changes come out. But anyway, that'll do it for me on the wrap-up of this first kind of community update and roadmap that we got here for Age of Empires 4. And as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.